welcome to the very first edition of the Villa Vision podcast with your host, me, Daniel Craythorne, and guests Jake Olbrys and Ben Davis. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yep. So as we all know, Villa played Sheffield United in the Hawkeye Derby on Monday night, winning 1-0 against the 10 men of the Blades after Egan was sent off due to a pullback on Watkins. As you can imagine, there's a lot to discuss from that game, so we'll discuss as much as we can within the hour, and we'll try to keep it short and sweet and to the point. Let's just get straight into it right away, gentlemen. So how do you think we played in the game, and do you think we deserve the win? I'll ask Jake first, and then we'll go on to Ben, and then I'll give my opinion.
Yeah, I thought it was one of those where you obviously take the 3 points, but it's a difficult one to analyse because you're against 10 men for 80 minutes, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's like
you don't get fair reflection.
10v11.
Yeah.
But when it's 10v11, they just sit back. We have all the ball, and it's like really difficult to actually take anything from it in a way.
Yeah, a realistic gauge.
Yeah, because it's 10v11 for 80 minutes.
Yeah, it's not a normal game. It's not a normal game. What they've gone in and prepared for is obviously 11v11, and then as soon as they went down to 10, we all knew that they were going to sit back, especially their side.
2 banks of 4 and 1 up front.
Yeah,
not ideal. It's 8.
Yeah.
It's 8 in the box, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I felt that we kept going well. The big thing is last year we would have drawn or lost that game 100%.
Yeah.
I've got no doubt about that. Yeah.
West Ham at home.
And
Arsenal last year, they had 10 men for ages. We lost.
Yeah, and I think again, we always tend to struggle against 10 men, and it's not because it tends to be because the positive things that we do and the threatening things that we have is when Jack gets space. When they're sat in with 2 banks, even when you do get the ball to him high up the pitch, there's 3 players all on him because they know obviously and when he does find another player, they've only got to shuffle over 2 or 3 yards to the left, and they've got 4 around him again. So it's always going to be difficult, don't you feel?
Yeah.
Especially against such a low block, like the way Sheffield United played. He was literally 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, all behind the ball. Head the ball when we cross it, kick it out, get Brexit style football. Really, it's like
They didn't try anything inventive or anything. I mean, this is how they play when they've got sort of 11 men. But
you might try when it's 10.
But more expressive.
They tried to sort of do things, but as soon as sort of Egan went off, they were just happy for a point. I think just going through our sort of our team, I think our team performance was fantastic. We won't talk about the new guys yet. We're just gonna have a little section on them later on. Just in regards to what I just thought in regard, John McGinn has been slightly off key ever since he's come back. I've seen a number of people as well with the same opinion as myself. It just hasn't quite. I mean, it was a number of stray passes. I mean, he is getting slightly better, but I counted at least 3 passes where he went to play it long, or a long ball pass that any central midfielder in that league, even those who aren't particularly gifted with their passing, would make the pass, and he was just kicking it 10 yards past them, which is obviously out of character for him, but it's been his character for a while now. I don't sort of want to just pick on him. It's just because of how good he's been and because of how much we sort of highly we rate him and expect him to do with him. He's just not being himself. I just wanted to get your opinion on that, and what you guys think about that.
I feel he's still lacking a few minutes.
Yeah, go on, Ben.
He got injured, and then he's come back and was right in the thick of it as soon as he come back, and he couldn't really get his stride because he's still missing out on his fitness, in a sense. And then as soon as he comes back, we've only got a stint of 6 games, and then we're done again. We haven't had a pre-season as such.
No, not a big break. It's obviously the quickest turnaround I've ever known since I've been following football in my sort of 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like as the season progresses, say around late October, start of November, we'll start to see the old McGinn again, and he'll be driving at the defences and be using his bum to turn players and all sorts.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I think his strengths will never go, and that's something. And he'll always show back. It's not about commitment with him. That's what I mean. We'll never question his commitment to the cause. It's just
No.
just a sense of the quality's not quite there yet. And I mean, if it is
Yeah.
sharpness, then we'll be happy because I mean, I was watching the clip earlier of him scoring that volley against QPR. I was actually there, literally just behind him. I was in the north stand for that game.
I just missed that.
I
Sheffield
literally.
Wednesday goal.
The kit, Sheffield Wednesday. Sorry, it's the same colour kit. Apologies. The one
Yeah,
that we
that's fine.
went on to lose. But yeah, that goal was like the best goal I've ever seen live.
Yeah.
And we know that he's got that in his locker. We know he scored a hat trick on his debut. But yeah, what do you think, Jake? I mean, what would you rate of his performance?
I think it's one of those with John. You know his strengths aren't passing anyway. His strengths are his energy, getting around the pitch.
Yeah.
Like he's always available to take the ball, to turn, to run at players.
Yeah.
Passing hasn't really been his strength anyway, I feel. So
Yeah,
I feel like
I
you
guess.
get those straight passes from him anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, it's going to take him time. He hasn't been properly fully fit since December last year, if we're being
Right.
honest.
Yeah.
When he got that bad injury.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
it's obviously going to take time for him to get back to the McGinn we know he can be.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to cut him a bit of slack, to be honest, as a fan base.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I agree. I think the problem, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because we saw. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but I saw Horahan get a bit of stick because he was frustrated to go
Yeah.
off, and I think,
Then
I mean,
celebrate the goal today.
yeah, and I mean it was myself, and I mean I sort of like seeing that because it shows he wants to play, and he does, and you can't question that he wants to leave Villa because he's being taken. I think the reason he's annoyed so much was because he was taken off ahead of John McGinn.
Yeah.
And I didn't think McGinn was in the game as much as I mean Horahan wasn't amazingly effective, but I
It
mean
wasn't
having
his
him in,
sort of game.
yeah, I mean, but the fact that we were always gonna have a lot of set pieces. Is he worth keeping on for swinging them in because obviously we didn't know if we were going to score straight away after he come on, but I mean I would have kept him on for sort of one, even that reason, because I mean he wasn't making any stray passes, but I mean I guess he was right because as soon as he'd made the change we scored, so I won't question him. He went 4-4-2, so I think that's the reason I think he was annoyed. I don't think it was more he's annoyed with Villa, or I think he was just annoyed that he came off and perhaps he thought on the pitch there was players playing worse than him.
At the end of the day, I don't think it was a Conor Horahan sort of game. As soon as it went down to 10 men, it was like
You need some intricate passes.
They're down to 10 men. They're gonna have 2 banks of 4 in the box. It's just not gonna be his game. Doesn't matter how much of a good ball he's gonna put in. They've still got very tall and big players in the box. Watkins isn't gonna win a header against any of them when he's got 8 men on him. So it's like you sacrifice him for another striker. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean we will touch on. We'll go into Watkins's in the literally in the next section. But yeah, I mean I agree with everything you're saying there. To be honest,
for me on Connor, I feel like he's very much based around stats.
Yeah.
Set pieces, his finishing ability, he strikes great dead ball. It gets good assists, gets good goals.
Yeah.
He can pass the ball well, but I feel like he's not very good when he's good under pressure, but he's not very good when he's pressed. I feel like if teams press Connor, he can struggle. I don't think his ability is good enough in terms of his dribbling. I feel like if you press him, he can make a mistake.
Yeah.
So I feel like that with him.
I think summing Connor up, he's a good squad player, but not someone you want every week being the key player in it.
He's easily, in my opinion, one of the best squad players you can get in the lower half of the Premier League.
Yeah.
In terms of his ability to come on and change a game, if you're winning all the free kicks and you're winning the fouls. And
corners. I totally agree.
You're going to get a better set piece player than him.
Yeah, and I think Yeah, and I think just moving on to our defence, I think that they showed resilience. The only
Yeah.
goal that only real huge chance that I can really remember is the penalty.
Yeah.
And I mean that was caused by, again, you can't really. I mean, I've seen people blaming Target. I mean, I think
He
it should have
tried to
been,
pull out.
and I mean it shouldn't have got to Target anyway. It shouldn't have got to that
No.
point. As they were coming forward, I was screaming at the TV to press them,
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have.
because we've got more players back anyway. We know they've only got 10
Yeah.
men. If we press them, and they're not like I say, they've got some good players, but they're not the most technically gifted team in the world. If we press them,
Oh no.
they're not going to pick some world class ball out. And if they do, then you hold your hands up and say fair play. But when it went, as soon as they got it through to him, Target turned. He didn't even see him, and he's just turned round and he's tried to help the ball on. He's clipped his leg instead.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't blame him, but I mean, Conser and Mings, let's just say that they were rock solid again, weren't they?
Oh yeah, they were quality. And with the Target situation, you can see
Yeah.
him trying to pull out of the tackle, and he's just
Yeah.
clipped him. I don't
Yeah.
even think Target's touched him. I think it's just the
No.
end of his boot, and then the players felt the contact and gone down.
Or expected the contact.
Yeah.
Even may even be the case.
He was
He may
already
have
going
even
down.
expected.
He was already going down before Target touched him. In fairness.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. He went. Yeah, he sort of threw himself to the floor. I mean, I think it just. I mean, I play up front, so in whenever I play football, so I'm a bit biased, but I'd say that is a penalty. I'm not. I
Oh, it
wouldn't
is a
contest
penalty.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I just feel as
It's
though.
clumsy by Target, isn't it?
Yeah,
To be
it's
honest.
a little clumsy, but I mean, he shouldn't have got to him in the first place. And when it's played in
No.
behind him with that ball, you can't underestimate the
Yeah.
weight and
Oh, it
the
was
vision of the
perfect
pass.
ball.
Great pass,
Had
and
to
I
be
mean,
Ollie Burke as well.
yeah, and yeah, exactly. And he went and yeah, he threw himself to the floor, but it was a penalty. But at the end
Yeah,
of the day, it
100%.
didn't matter to us in the end, and
No.
they didn't look like once they went down to 10 men, especially they just didn't look like they were going to threaten us at all. They weren't even throwing players forward until the last 5-10 minutes or so.
No, when they
Um,
conceded.
yeah,
And then the game
exactly.
started to open up more for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think
Yeah,
for me, in the first half, we gave him almost too much respect.
Mm.
yeah,
Like, because Dean Smith and Chris Wilder like each other and they are mates off the pitch.
yeah,
I feel like we did give them almost too much time on the ball when we should
Yeah.
have played
yeah,
a bit better from the front, I would say. I feel like we gave the centre backs too much time to play out. We were a bit too slow in possession ourselves.
yeah.
A bit. I feel like
Lethargical.
tempo wasn't good enough first half, but that got fixed a little bit second.
Yeah. Well, I agree in a certain extent. The second, as soon as, because they went down to 10 men around 10, 15 minutes in, 13 minutes in, if I remember rightly. So they went in around that time. And I think for
Yeah.
the first 25 minutes, I mean, even the first 10 minutes after they went down to 10, I thought we were played really well. We were playing really slick, quick passing. And then for some reason, near sort of the end of the half, we sort of started going really slow. So instead of taking one touch and passing, we were taking 3 touches, looking up and playing the
Yeah.
same pass we would have played anyway. Against teams like that, you just need to keep moving it. And I think that's exactly what Dean said to sort of in the dressing room at half time, and that did sort of prompt them to sort of put a rocket up their backside, and they did. Then were pressing higher, and then because we were working them into tight spaces, they were just having to lump it long. And then it was
which
being
benefited
collected.
us.
Yeah, and I mean, Tyron Mink, we're blessed with 2 very fast centre halves. I mean,
They are.
yeah, I mean, Tyron Mings is however tall, his legs are huge. Like
Yeah.
he just strides back on
Long
people.
strides.
Yeah, but yeah, I think, and then just a quick nod to Conser for the goal. Of course, what a header.
Oh, it was great. Eh? You weren't saving it. No keeper in the league was saving that.
No,
Keeper should have saved it.
No keeper in the Champions League was saving that. To be honest,
no,
Yeah.
perfectly placed, nestled in the corner.
The keeper's moved too quickly. I feel like if the keeper waits a little bit for the actual header by Conser, he saves it. Because he moves too quickly to his one side, he can't get back quick enough to the corner to save it. I feel like he wrong footed himself. the keeper.
I respect your opinion. I think that's been a little harsh. The keeper couldn't. There's not much you can do from that because it's what's happened is he's flicked it on. So the keeper's obviously near the front post, and he's turned to try and get back to because he knows it's flicking on. He has no idea it could go right in the centre of the goal. So anyone he flicks on can go either side.
Flick.
Yeah, right up in the air.
Perfectly weighted and everything, man.
I feel like as a keeper in that situation, you should just give yourself a second there. Like all the top keepers in the world, like they give themselves more time than they actually have.
Yeah, I guess.
So they wait until they actually know what's actually going to happen before they move, so they don't get wrong-footed.
I'm very glad that we didn't buy him. I wanted to buy Ramsdale at the start of the season.
I was saying as soon as we saw the Ramsdale links, I was like, no, we can get better. If we do want a keeper, we can get a better keeper for that sort of money. I mean, just look at Emi Martinez.
Well, for an extra 1.5 million, that's what an extra 1.5 million gets you.
We've arguably got one of the best keepers in the league.
Yeah,
I'd say it's one of the top
for
ones.
Like £1 million more than Ramsdale would have been.
I mean, I'm sure we'll go on to Martinez.
28.
Yeah. Well, actually, leading us on, that's probably a good time to actually go on to Martinez. So yeah, I'll let you guys start. How would you rate Martinez's performance this evening? Well, not
10 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, he didn't put a foot wrong today. For me, he's our best signing since John McGinn. For the money we got him for the potential he has, he's young. He's young for a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Goalkeepers can go on for a lot longer than outfield players.
He could be Villa's number one for the next 10 years.
Like 22, 23, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he has a lot of lifespan left in him. He hasn't played much, which means that he's maybe
could only prolong.
Yeah, his legs aren't as battered, as an analogy, for example. Yeah. So he can go on for longer, and he's arguably top 8 keepers in the league, I'd say.
Oh, easily top 8. I mean, I saw him last season, so because the stats when you look at them aren't particularly what's the word, encouraging. I mean, because most of the clubs he's been at, sort of, it was Reading was one. He's gone to sort of quite lower down the league clubs and Championship, and he's never and even then he's never been the number one really. He's played sort of spits and spats in little bits over the years, but then obviously given his chance at Arsenal, they obviously saw something in him at Arsenal to keeping him on. And then I think that's why he's obviously earned that loyalty that they want when they wanted him to go. They didn't ask a silly fee for him, so he could come to Villa, because if they would have asked for 60 million, he wouldn't have been able to go anyway. But I think in how can Martinez be almost a quarter of what Kepa's worth? I think that to me that's that's absolutely staggering.
If you want me to be honest, I think Martinez is better than Dean Henderson. Everyone raves about Dean Henderson.
Yeah, I think he's.
You got De Gea. I think he's better than De Gea as well.
I think we need to see more of Martinez before we actually compare him. That's why I only said top 8, because we need to see actually more of him in a Villa shirt.
I'm judging off Arsenal. Yeah, I'm judging off Arsenal performances. I mean, we haven't discussed his. I mean, because obviously he is Arsenal, so but I did see a lot of him. And he's, for me, he's the show of class is in the first half. There was a ball that come in, and it was really awkward. It was right on the 6-yard box, and he had to come from deep, and he dived. This is for Villa. This was the other night, and he came from deep, and he caught it with both hands above a crowd of about 6 or 7 players, and it was just the most simple thing ever. And then and then not only that, he looked up. He weren't content with that and jumped like. A lot of keepers would then jump on it, slow the game down, stop us from counter-attacking. But he understood that we need to get it moving. So he looked up and pinged a ball about 80 yards of his foot straight onto the end. And then I think it was Trezeguet got on the end of it and bought a foul in a dangerous position. And that type of class is something that we haven't had in goal since. I'd even go as far as Friedel. It would probably Friedel. I mean. Johnson was a good shot stopper, but in other areas he didn't give you the jeebs. Like you didn't want him to come out and catch it. Sometimes you thought he was going to drop it.
Johnston's a younger Heaton.
Yeah. I mean, but Johnson again. I mean, Heaton. Sorry, he's a good keeper, and then everyone raves about him. But when you look at back, he made a couple of errors that led to goals. I mean, it might be a bit unfair of me, but
yeah,
I can't see. It sounds silly, but I can't see Martinez making those errors.
I can't.
When you look through his stats in the Premier League, maybe he's not played a lot, but he's had.
His save
Yeah, I think
his
he's only
save per
conceded like 3
expected
or
goals
4.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's conceded like 3 or 4, and they've lost like 4 of those games. So they must have lost like all of them 1-0. His stats are staggering in the Premier League when he has played for Arsenal. So he's a good goalkeeper, and I think even though he's very early days, I'm happy to rave about him because I'm very, very excited about his year. But yeah,
But just look at the penalty save.
Yeah, exactly.
The fact he's kept his foot on the line and outstretched himself to still make the save.
It's
Well,
right
let's be honest with ourselves. It was still a very good penalty.
Yeah, it's right in the corner. It is right in the corner. I mean, that's all you ask for when you take a penalty. Right in the corner, low and hard. And he didn't even. Sometimes you see him dribble it because they're trying to be clever or they may be trying to look casual. But he didn't. He actually did try and just go and drill it. And when he saved it, and you just think it's just top class.
What I loved as well, I don't know if anyone else noticed it. When he saved the pen, Cash runs straight up to him.
Yeah.
Anyone else notice that?
Yeah. And he was also talking to the back four the whole way through the game. And when we were moving the ball slowly, there's quotes from him off the side from Villa journalists saying that he was asking it. He was telling it. He was screaming at his defence to play it quicker. He said attacking the best form of defence. So he's telling his team. He's telling the defence, barking orders at them who have been there for. Obviously, Ming's been there for 2 or 3 years, and others have been there for a while. And he's commanding them, and I think that's just a great sign.
He's a leader.
Yeah, and it's a good. But this is it's a good time to move on to Cash.
Can I say one more thing about Martinez?
Yeah, no worries.
For me, what I look at for a good keeper is being good at everything. So for a keeper, your all-round game is you catching, he's got it. Distribution, he's got it.
Yeah.
Shot stopping, he's got it.
Yeah.
The signs of a great keeper is having all 3, and he has that. Only the best keepers can do all 3. There's not many that can. He has that, and that's what I like most about him. He can do everything as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you remember that one long throw?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's in the second half, and he's in his 6-yard box, and Cash is like by the halfway line, and he's threw it straight to Cash. Perfect weight, perfect height, and everything. It's gone straight to him.
Yeah.
It's creating their attack.
Quality, yeah.
What keeper can throw it 60, 70 yards?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing about Cash. He's absolutely top class at going forward and surging forward and making something. He doesn't want to just stay back. I mean, although I do like Al Mohammadi, he's a big culprit of when he gets the ball from the centre half or from his goalkeeper. Even if sometimes we're on a break, he slows the game right down.
Yeah.
And then
He
looks
got the
up.
pace to keep up.
Yeah, and he hasn't got the vision to then pick the right pass. Cash looks like he's got that. I mean, we've only seen him in one game, but it was
He's got a mean
impressive.
ball on him.
Yeah, from that deep area. He was coming in.
He's got a cracking ball on him.
Yeah.
He's going to get many assists this year.
He's got brilliant. Yeah, and that's the one that, I mean, he's Gilbert with a cross. In a way, I mean, I think even his positioning's better. Gilbert.
And with Almo to learn off.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why they kept. That must be the only reason they've kept out. Unless they are going to get rid of Gilbert. I'll be upset if they do get rid of Gilbert because he's going to develop into a very, very good.
I think they will.
Yeah. For me, I have a fairly unpopular opinion on Gilbert.
Right.
I don't think he's quite as good as people think. I like him. I think he has a great engine, good pace, decent defender. Especially 1v1, can put in a good slide tackle.
Yeah.
But I feel like he gets caught out positionally too much, and that's not really. It's something you can teach, but I feel like it's more instinct than anything.
Right.
So I'm not sure how much he would improve on that, and I'm not sure how good he is. I've seen bits from him technically that I've been impressed by, but there's also been times where he's overhit crosses, he's misplaced passes, and this is quite often. It's not just 1 or 2 times. It's been quite often over the season, Gilbert. So I feel like bringing in Cash was the right move, and it's definitely made us a lot stronger. Although I do love Gilbert, I'm not sure if we can improve having him as a starting right back.
I think he's gone.
Go on, sorry, Ben.
I think Gilbert's gone now. Wasn't on the bench against Burton. Wasn't on the bench again yesterday.
It'll be
He's on the
interesting to
bench
see.
against Bristol.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see who we do start against Bristol.
Yeah.
I can't see. It'll obviously be a weakened lineup. I can see it'll obviously be. I think Davis will start.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll obviously be a really weakened lineup. And if Gilbert isn't in that lineup, or at least on the bench, he's going to be gone. But I mean, what he was what he was putting on Instagram and things like that, suggested he really he was loving life and he wanted to stay here, and it was all not rumours and it's not true. So whether they have got some sort of other plan for him, maybe they're telling him Elmer's got one more year on his contract, because I think he must have one more year and he can't have much longer on his contract, can he? Elmer Hamady.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I think what they may say is Freddie goes out on loan.
Yeah.
Elmo has the rest of this year, and then once Elmo's gone, Gilbert comes back in, and then it's up to him if he wants to try and contend with
Could he go
cash.
out on loan?
Yeah, that makes
I
the
think
most sense to me.
That's what I think they'll do.
You send him out on loan to France, get him some regular game time, have him come back a better player, and then have some proper competition for cash.
Yeah.
Like Gilbert, and I think he could get better, but I don't think he's good enough for the first team just yet.
Gilbert would benefit off a loan to a club like Nice or Marseille. A club that's there, but not quite.
I'd personally say that I'd prefer him to go to a championship side, because I don't think playing in France helps you play in England. I think it's completely different. I think we obviously play a completely different game. I mean, I used to go on holiday. I know it's a few years now, 3 or 4 years ago, but me and my family always used to go to France. So we always went to Monaco. We were just outside Monaco. And I mean, this was even when Monaco were quite good. And the game is so much slower.
It is slow.
It's not the same intensity, and it gives you, so players like Gilbert, who's got the absolute pace, if he gets it and he's got time and he can pick a pass, roll it to someone and run past him, he's going to look like an absolute Ferrari and a class player. But when he gets it for Villa, he's got Mane or Timo Werner this year or someone else herring after him, and he's not got the time to pick his pass like maybe he thinks he's got the time to. And I think last year would have been a great learning experience, because I mean, I already think that Douglas Luiz looks a lot better, and he looked a different player from the first 6 months. He looked completely different. And I mean, we have to remember Gilbert was injured for a lot of the season as well. But my big thing with Gilbert, the last thing we'll say on him, is we were 1-0 up against Liverpool. Away, I think we were away from home or at home. We were 1-0 up.
I think it was at home.
Yeah,
and we lost 2-1, and it was when he got injured or he came off. I can't remember if he got injured or he came off.
Kind of went to,
and then they scored twice, and they scored from Elmo not marking the man at the back post, which was, I think it was Robertson, wasn't it, the first one?
Robertson.
That was their first goal. They don't score that, we win.
Yeah, they don't. And then we at that point we were comfortable, and I mean because their big thing is pace, and because he's got pace, they were trying to put it. Their big thing, they were trying to skin him. As long as he watches their feet, and if they knock it past him, on a standing push, he's probably as fast as them. He's one of the quickest defenders I've seen. We've had it right, but that's why I really liked him. But yeah, that's the one thing that stood out to me, because I thought that was the game. I said he's a class right back when we watched that, and then when he went off, we were a completely different side. But yeah, that we'll leave because we're going on about Gilbert a little bit, and he may probably
another thing about cash. Versatility.
A lot of people like Gilbert, so I don't want to annoy people too much.
Yeah.
Another thing about cash is versatility is unreal. You can play right back, you can play right mid, you can play in the wing, play in the opposite wing, or you can play in the midfield.
That's one of his plus points.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll be interesting to see him play in another role, because obviously there's a few games I've seen, because I actually live, unfortunately, in Derby now at the moment. So I see, I've got a lot of friends that are Nottingham fans, Nottingham Forest fans. So they obviously did say how good he was and that we're having a class player. But they were saying he has got versatility, but mainly I saw him as a right back, because whenever we watched games or we saw anything like that together, he was always right back. So it will be interesting to see him play a different position. But again, I'm happy to keep him at right back if he plays like that every week.
No, same.
Yeah.
He's going to get a
Yeah.
lot of assists this season, especially with Watkins to feed on those crosses, he'll crossing as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but we've got a all English back four.
Yeah, we have.
Target
That's always
Mings,
a positive.
Target Mings, Konsa, and well, I mean, if Mings keeps getting a call up, perhaps we're all thinking Southgate was looking at Grealish. I think he might be looking at Konsa as well.
Yeah,
I think so.
If they must look at stats,
And if
they
he
must have
is,
some stat man looking at stats, and we concede the least goals for the. We can't. We keep keeping clean sheets.
if we keep keeping sheets, Southgate can't ignore our defenders. That's all I'm saying.
I think a little bit has to go out. A little bit has to go out to John Terry as well for that, because I mean he got a lot of stick saying, "Well, people saying, well, what does he even do?"
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you can't. And if he was playing, he might be able to do a little bit more. I mean, he can't do it on the pitch, so
it is hard to
I'm
coach it
happy that
into
we're
him.
doing well. Yeah, I'm happy with what we're doing. But yeah, so moving on anyway, and we'll go on to our record signing. Ollie Watkins, the one who got us the advantage and probably ruined the game for himself in the process. Because it was looking to be a Watkins game, balls over the top on the counter attack. And yeah, it didn't. Once they had a man down, once he got someone sent off, it spoiled his own game because he couldn't then get in behind.
No, he always had 8 men on him at all times, and
yeah. And
he thrives on space, doesn't he? Watkins does well. He's very quick. He has great movement. He leaves some space in behind. He thrives on it. That's probably one of his major plus points.
Yeah, he holds the ball well.
That's the big one. That's why I always like Keenan Davis. Again, Keenan Davis gets sticky. He doesn't score enough goals. He's very young, and he's got absolutely everything out. He's like Drogba without the goals. He's got absolutely everything. He's powerful. He bullies people, and I mean, he bullies good centre halves. He's not bullying championship players and stuff every week. When he comes on, he's horrible to play, and you can see defenders struggling against him. I mean, that is something I'm telling you, you can improve on, because that's something that you can just go out every day and just do those training sessions and score the goals. When he went through against Burton, I didn't think he was ever going to miss. He took it like he'd scored 50.
Thought he'd score.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something
I think he'd benefit from a loan. He'd benefit from a loan to a Preston or a Notts Forest, like I said earlier. And if he can bang 10 to 15 goals at a team pushing for promotion,
but I mean,
he'd only benefit from that.
I mean, Heskey's not that kind of player, is he? So,
oh no,
Heskey's not that kind of player. So I mean, he never scored goals. I mean, but he was.
His hold-up play.
He got lots of caps for it. Well, I don't know how many caps. I'm sure it's over 50 caps.
Over 100 Premier League goals.
Yeah, and he got 100, and that's just longevity. I think more than anything else. He wasn't really ever a goal getter, but the things he did to bring up. If we are going to play with two, which might be in the back of his mind, we've got Watkins, Wesley, and Wesley and Davis can fight over the other one, or all three of them. And I mean, I'd rather have Davis, Wesley, and Watkins than just Watkins and Wesley. So I'm happy to keep him to stay for now, because he'll still get minutes, because Wesley's not going to be back anytime soon, even when he gets fit.
January.
See pictures of him. Yeah, January. And I mean, if he is then in firing form, we can look at perhaps letting him go on loan, Davis. But yeah,
I think it'd be worth looking at a striker on loan.
Yeah.
Even if it's just till January. It just makes sense.
I don't think this. I mean, there's about a week left or so of this window.
It's 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks. Is it on the
mid of October? We got longer than you.
No, so there's 2 weeks. 2 weeks is plenty. 2 weeks is plenty of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Troy Alray, who can play striker.
Yeah. Oh,
if we do get Rashica, he can play striker.
Yeah. Well, the big ones is Myla Sarr, but I think that's for another podcast entirely, because we can go on forever about that. But yeah, Ismaila Sarr again would be another winger that we could then perhaps you could play Adama. Sorry, that's no. Yeah, you could play Troy Alray. Sorry, or further up. Yeah, not Adama Traore, not our Traore. Yeah, Bertrand's better. Yeah, but yeah,
best scorer in the league.
But yeah, so Watkins was unfortunate, but again he had a flash where he got the ball
That
cut
curler.
inside and curled one, and you just feel so sorry for him that he didn't bend in the top
I
corner.
thought that nestled.
Yeah, I thought he was going to nestle in the top corner when he hit that just too high.
And if
just
anyone
slightly
deserved
too
to goal,
high.
it would have been Watkins.
Yeah.
Talk about our transfer business in terms of our attacking options for a bit. For me,
Yeah.
what we've done so well, I'll bring this back to Davis, don't worry. What we've done so well is we have so much versatility through the...
Yeah.
So we have Bertrand Traore can play striker wing. If he signs, I'm still saying this, can play either, because we don't know whether he'll sign yet. We've got
I think he will.
Watkins can play either wing or striker.
Yeah.
We've got Algazi can play either wing, Trezeguet over wing, Jack can play anywhere he wants. We've got Davis, who's a very good target man. Like, we have loads of different options, which we didn't have last season. I feel like that's going to be our advantage this year. And which means
all our signings have pace.
We can have different tactical elements. I feel like it just opens up a whole array of opportunities for us this year that we didn't have last year.
Yeah, I agree. I think
another thing with our signings, all got pace. Every single one of them that we signed. Outfield, not Martinez obviously, but every outfield player we signed, have all got pace. They've got something about them, that bit of skill.
Yeah,
that's what we lacked last year as well. We lacked pace massively. I feel like it offers us so many more tactical options. Like we can go 5 at the back if we want. We can go 4-4-2. We can stick with 4-3-3. We can do so much more now, and that's only to our advantage because of the players we've signed who have a lot of pace, as Ben said.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not convinced by Trezeguet. Fair enough. He tries his hardest. I'm not knocking that. I just don't think quality's quite there for Premier League.
He's committed.
Yeah, he's committed, and
I think he's a good squad player.
He's sometimes he's good. I think he'd be a good player coming off the bench because he'd be horrible to defend against when you're tired, 20 minutes left, and he comes on and he just chases you and he's kicking you and grabbing you. And he's all over you, and you just want him to go away. You just want to just relax when you get the ball. But every time you get the ball, he's chasing you and stuff. And I think that maybe he'd be okay then. But quality-wise, he's not going to. I don't think he's the type of player who's going to get it out wide, cut inside, and beat 2 men and score. And I mean, El Ghazi,
he's inconsistent.
Does have that. Yeah, I mean, it's inconsistent. I mean, most of his goals, he's in the right place at the right time, but. I don't see anything particularly special. If it was Traore there, that he would have scored the goal. Sort of, if you know, I'm sort of saying there's nothing particularly that I see that he can do. I hope he proves me wrong. I like
Trez.
Yeah, I love Trezeguet.
I think he's important to the squad.
He plays for the team, but eventually, if we want to go where they clearly want to go, the owners, because this is the biggest ambition I've seen from our club in 10 years. Sort of we've got the
investment.
The 20 million on Martinez, 16 million on Cash, 33 on Watkins, about 17 roughly on, or 19 on Traore, was it?
Yeah.
These are with instalments.
Yeah.
So it's less
they are, but
now than you're saying, but these are with instalments.
Yeah.
These transfer fees.
Yeah.
Still shows the ambition.
They're always staggered as well, aren't they? And I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because of this year, I think everyone's all confused. I think that's what we're going to have to try and quickly answer a question from one of the people from Twitter later on via the FFP. But I think people are a little bit confused, thinking it's normal. But I think if it's the next year, at least the next year, and definitely, I think it's definitely this year, and I'm pretty sure it's next year as well. I think over the next 2 years, people have it's been relaxed a little bit. And
I think it'll be spend big this year, spend less next year.
If we stay up,
for me, I'll go into it more later because obviously we've got the question about it. But we can spend money, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
For now.
That's what I think exactly. I think the only other thing I wanted to talk about was just quickly just highlight your quick takeaways. So, say 5 positives and say 5 negatives or so, something really quickly. So it can be absolutely anything, a certain player.
I'll put mine on Twitter. Ben can go first. I'll find what I'll put on Twitter. Ben can go first.
Yeah.
Positives. I think
putting you on the spot.
we look good in possession. No.
Yeah.
We look good in possession.
Yeah.
Watkins seems to have the pace and a turn of pace to beat a defender and the strength to hold off the defenders.
Yeah, that's two.
Then Watkins' positioning as well is second to none. I think he will score goals this season and he will get assists this season.
Yeah. His
I
movement.
think Jack is just a positive by himself. Having Jack in the squad is just a lift. And that'll pull any player to the club, really, when you think about it.
Yeah,
Have the chance to play with him. Yeah. And the pulling power Jack will have as well, staying at the club. Any player looking at Villa now will be like, okay, Jack's there for the long term. Let's go play with Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we do look a threat going forward.
Yeah.
And we look solid defensively as well.
Yeah. Yeah. 5. Yeah. And any negatives? Well, negatives or not negative. We can turn that into things we can improve on, things we can make better for the next game. Creativity. Yeah, I agree with that one. You can leave it with that if you want. That's a good one. So yeah. So anyway, I'll go through while Jake tries to find his fake notes.
Mine, mate. If you want me to say mine now.
Yeah, if you want to go first, then. Yeah, if you want to give yours.
So this is more from yesterday's game.
But
it's still relevant. So positives, 3 points on the board.
Yep.
Defenders chipping in with a goal, which we didn't have enough of last season until more so the end of the season.
Yeah, the end of the season,
so that's always a positive. Defenders
I
scoring.
agree.
We looked dangerous from set pieces. Good delivery from target when he was on them. We're always a threat when we take set pieces, as we were at the end of last season.
Yeah. I agree.
I thought Douglas Luiz was excellent yesterday. Kind of carried on his form for post lockdown. I saw a really interesting thing from someone on Twitter yesterday about Luiz.
Right.
Basically, he had an area where he was the whole game.
Yeah.
He went into their box once, and that was for a header. He kept to his position so well, and he literally stayed within 60 yards of the halfway line, which is what we want from him. His positional sense yesterday was excellent.
Yeah,
I feel like that
is does his job. That's all you can ask of him, really.
Yeah, that's a sign of how much he's improved recently and how good
he's matured a lot.
Yeah. And he's very disciplined. He's much more disciplined. He would maraud forward a little bit last season, but realises his role in the side now, and he knows how integral he is on the defensive side. And when we are in possession, he just ticks everything along. He keeps the ball moving. The only one downside I would say, I would like him to see him move it a little bit quicker because he's got the range of passing to just pick it up, one touch bang, and he can.
I'd like to see him take a few more shots.
Yeah, from the edge of the box, crack a few more shots. Yeah, I agree because he's got.
Look at him, Norwich away and Bournemouth at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on to another positive.
Yeah.
A positive in itself is Emi Martinez.
Yeah.
He looks outstanding. For me, like I said earlier, he's our best signing for ages since John McGinn. He just looks so composed on the ball. When it comes to crosses, he's great. Shot stopping we saw at Arsenal, how good he is. I feel like he just sends confidence for the whole defence, and that's what you want from your goalkeeper. He just spreads confidence throughout the team, and he'll win us a lot of points this year, like he already has from yesterday's game.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one.
If they score that penalty, it's so much harder for us.
Yeah. I find
heads are down.
How well we saw out of the game yesterday. I thought our game management was a lot better than he was for a lot of last year. Like we said earlier, last season we probably don't win that game. And I thought our game management yesterday was a lot better.
I agree. I totally agree. I think you bang on with everything you've said. Do you want to move on to what we think we can improve on?
Yeah.
I just add about Luiz.
Yeah, no problem.
I would pay whatever City want. I'd pay whatever City wants by that buyback clause. I'd pay them whatever they want.
They're stacked there. They don't want Luiz. They don't want Louise back.
If it means we
I
get to
think he's
keep
safe.
him, I would pay whatever I have to
They're
keep.
in the buyback clause.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just pay whatever they want to keep him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because he's so important to what we do.
yeah. I can't.
Can I
I
go on to
can't see.
negatives?
Yeah. You can move on. Sorry.
So for me, I feel like, especially towards the end of the first half, we didn't play with enough tempo. Yesterday, I don't think our passing was crisp enough. I don't think it was quick enough. I feel like we gave Sheffield United too much respect, as I said. I did feel like if teams sit in a low block, we could struggle. And I feel like we'll be better if they come on to us and we can counter attack, especially with the pace we have now. So I feel like that's a slight negative, but it's something we can improve on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I
I
agree.
agree with that, mate. Yeah. Next point.
And one more negative. I feel like our defending was naive when we conceded the penalty. I feel like Concert was my football because there was, I don't know if you saw, before we conceded the penalty, they obviously counter attacked, and Concert was just way too aggressive. I feel like that's a bit naive from him, and I feel like that caused a counter attack, and from there we just didn't recover.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because I actually remember exactly what you're talking about now. I was sort of thinking back, and then I can remember because, and I sort of like the idea of one of them going forward and joining the attack, sort of because they don't see it coming and it's not something they expect. And Tyrone Mings is great with his feet, so he can do something. It's not like he's going to just go there and fall over his own
He's play
feet.
fullback, didn't he? So.
Exactly. So I don't mind when they do that, but I noticed when they did break, Conser just comes tearing forward out of his position, where he doesn't need to. They're not particularly the quickest on the break as far as I'm aware, and we've got the legs to get back anyway. Our players aren't the slowest. We've got a lot of players who will drive back. They won't stop from getting back. And I think, I totally agree with you. He has torn out of his defensive position to try and win it first time when we don't need him to do that, when we could have had players come back and get to the player before he did that. But I think that's 100%. The only mistake he made.
Experience. I feel like with Conte, he's still a relatively young defender. I feel like he'll learn that, and I feel like it's a bit naive for now, but he will improve on that, and he's going to be a very good player in the future.
Yeah, he's very young. He's very, very young, and he's been thrown in, and he's been absolutely sensational. I mean, we're sort of picking out little things we can improve on, but I mean, we're picking hairs. I mean, they've got 3 clean sheets in a row in competitive games, and I mean, it's pretty much the same defence, bar Cash obviously this time, and Martinez in goal. So I mean that, and I'd hazard saying they're both improvements, so it's not going to make it any weaker. So it's only going to get better, I'd say. Especially with Dougie just holding in front, just holding it, and just every time we have the ball, we split the 2 centre halves. He comes in to come and get it, and then we got sort of like we split to 5, but then we can always play past most presses then. And if they don't, when we do have these fast players, Traore, hopefully, and I do hope we do get another left wing because we do need some pace, and then hopefully put Jack back in the centre, like sort of number 10, and play 4-2-3-1. Sort of that position. I'd like to see us playing on that because Douglas Luiz and Majin could happily do that. Douglas on the right side, Majin on the left hand side of it. Both of them, if one of them goes, one of them holds. And I think with the pace, if people then do try and press us, we can clip it in behind, get them turned, and even if they do try and lay it back to the keeper, he's gonna have to. We'll force him to go long, and we can win. We can get them higher up the pitch, sort of thing. And I think the last time we've had balls over the top, if we tried to get out from a push or from a press, rather sorry, we've had Trezeguet, who unfortunately isn't blessed with very great pace. So when it goes in behind, he's not scaring defenders. They know they can get back to him. And I think Traore, Watkins, and the other guy, and hopefully another left winger that we bring in.
Hopefully Rashica for me.
Rashica or
his pace is blistering.
Ismail Assar's the big one that we've been linked with today, as well. He'd be a good addition. I mean, even just as a different option, and it might kick.
Learn with the obligation to buy.
And I think it might kick El Ghazi and Trezeguet up the bum and realise, tell them, look, you can't. You're not first choice anymore. Because they could have literally got drunk and come and we'd still had to play them because we didn't have any other right wingers or any left wingers.
Was that El Ghazi on the bench yesterday?
Yeah, he
I
was.
think he was. I don't think he come
Was
on.
it?
I was expecting to see the classic El Ghazi for Trezeguet, but I don't think it
Same.
happened.
Yeah, El
Yeah,
Ghazi was on the bench, but I think it more shows Dean's lack of trust in him now. The fact
yeah.
that he didn't even bring him on when
No,
they.
He'll
yeah.
go out on loan this season, I think. It's
Yeah,
a
Well,
championship.
he did
Wouldn't
nothing
surprise me.
against Burton, did he? So what's he going to do against a more organised side that are sat in?
yeah,
On
So yeah,
that Burton performance from El Ghazi, it was when Watkins was in the box and he's
yeah.
played it
Yeah,
like 50 yards above him. It's like just
yeah.
drill it on
Take
the floor and Watkins scores.
he takes
Yeah.
no care. That's the
His
thing
decision
that I
making.
find with our wingers, especially over the last year, and because I dread to see this stats of how many balls we put into the box in a year, but the amount of
Mhm.
them that we just take no care with them. They're just like sort of just
Yeah.
slung in,
No.
not aimed at anyone. I think the art of I'm surprised that we've not. I mean, they must have said something, but it's surely the art of. I've always been taught the art of crossing. You've got to pick someone out. Don't just put it. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's no one there and you just put it in an area, put it in an area. But if you've got
Put in a
time,
dangerous area.
yeah, if you've got time and you've got loads of time and it's like rolling nice for you, pick someone out that you aim at. Because I've always
Yeah.
found that if you just put it into an area, it always ends up going on their head every time. But if you pick someone
Yeah.
out, you'll pick someone out. And I think that
Yeah.
we just need to take a little bit more care from the wide positions because we are good from there.
If we're going to be honest, the last decent cross our guys put in was Man United away last year and he picked Jack out.
Yeah.
It's the last decent cross I remember him making.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the frightening thing for me was I watched. I know it's a different level. When we played in the championship final, he scored the goal, so he's in the right place at the right time, and he's
Yeah.
powerful, strong in the air, won the header, and got that goal. And because he does pop up with some,
Yeah.
he's winning it. I think it sounds strange, but I'm gonna actually quote my dad. My dad said he's an odd player because what he'll do
Yeah.
is he
He
won't
is.
do anything for 60 minutes or 2 games, and then he pops up, gets it on the wing. You're like, oh, El Ghazi's playing, and then he
An
skips
absolute
inside three of
worldie.
them and belts it in the top corner. And you're like, why don't you do that
Yeah.
more? Why haven't you like? It's like he only does it when he's annoyed or something. He did it once
Let's not
against
forget,
West
we're talking
Brom.
about a player that scored at Barcelona away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
The,
he's a
he
good player.
scored at
He's got the
Newcastle.
quality.
Scored
What
against
I'll
Arsenal.
say of Ghazi, he's very much a confidence player. The reason why
Yeah.
he's so good in the playoff final was because he's so full of confidence, having had a good end.
He had that run of games, didn't he?
Yeah.
He very much needs a run of games, which he isn't
We
good enough
can't give
for.
we can't give him in this league.
Yeah.
We can't give him it.
No.
That's why they're trying
On
to
his
give it him.
day, he's one of the most exciting
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when
On
I
his
first got
days.
him, when we first got him, I thought he is a top class signing. When we first got him on loan as well, and you
Yeah.
first saw
He
because
was.
he was powerful and he looked like a B-Tech Cristiano Ronaldo. He looked powerful
Yeah.
and he looked like he was throwing skills and he was going past people. If you give him a defender one-on-one and 30 yards in behind him, like just to run
Yeah.
like he's one-on-one, he's going around him every time. But now this year, no matter who you are, even if you're one of the top class defenders, if you give him 30, because he'll just knock it around one side and run the other way or whatever, and he's too quick. But for some reason, he's too scared or too not confident enough to try and go around players in the Premier League, and he takes the easy option. I find instead of maybe running at his defender and trying to get a ball across or doing something different, he'll turn around and lay it back to the left back or the right back.
El Ghazi hasn't had a good game since Man United away, if I remember correctly. He got that injury and he dropped. So remember before that, he's playing quite well. He scored the winner against Everton, and then he played well against Arsenal, I think.
He
He kept
pops
on
up.
playing well.
He pops up in
And
the right
then that
position.
Man United game, he hasn't had a good game.
You're right, lad.
And his confidence dipped even more Everton away.
Yeah.
I feel like Ghazi's not worth the amount of time we're talking about him for.
No worries.
He's not.
Yeah, so I think what we can go actually on to next is the questions that we've been asked. So we've got 4 questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the first one, so it's we're going to convert them into more because it's slightly a bit broad of a question. So this is from Adrian. So he says, why does Dean appear to be obsessed with playing 2 wingers when we have 2 attacking fullbacks, as all it does is leave us light in midfield where most games are won and lost? I'm just going to quickly jump in on that one first. I think the reason we played two wingers, if you play two fullbacks, especially how the way we want to play, which is playing out from the back, you invite pressure too much. We're too low down the pitch. Again, especially and we've also just bought a new winger, and Jack Grealish is the most effective from there at the moment because we don't have enough of the ball up high up the pitch for him to be able to affect the game as much as we'd like him to. So I don't.
Yeah.
He's not obsessed with playing two wingers. I'm just playing three centre halves as we tried to last year. Invites too much pressure in this league unless you are expert at it, like an Italian team.
Sheffield United.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'll let you answer that, Ben. You can go first, and then we'll go on to Jake. What he'd like to say about that?
I think what it is with Smith, he likes attacking football. He wants to play attacking football.
Yeah.
The more attackers he's got on the pitch, the better it works out for him. And let's be honest, Target, whilst he's not great defensively, he's still a good defender.
Yeah.
Same goes with Cash. His defensive stats last season were Premier League level stats.
Yeah.
And it's like, we aren't no mugs defensively. Yes, we were beginning of last season, but that's last season.
Why change what isn't broken, basically,
After lockdown. Exactly. After lockdown, it was working perfectly what we was doing.
Yeah, we had the second
with
best defence.
Better players, it'll work.
Yeah, we had the second best defence in the league, just behind Liverpool. I think it was Liverpool, but it was definitely second.
I saw earlier Bertrand Traore stats. In 165 starts, he's had 95 goal contributions.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not bad.
That's decent.
Let's be honest.
That's decent. I mean, he was prolific when he was at Vitesse. When that's when he got signed for the French side, but then for Lyon. Sorry, and they played him right inside forward in a 3, and then I had a lot of Lyon fans, and I had a lot of Lyon fans were saying it was a little bit unfair because he's just playing sort of as a winger. So you lose these goals because that's what he's good at. That's what he was frustrated with.
They played him at wing back at one point.
Yeah. I mean, that's not where he plays. Yeah, that's not where he plays. So,
striker.
Yeah. And I mean, Jake, just to answer that question, how do you think? Why do you think that we play two wingers instead of two sort of fullbacks and then more in midfield and more in defence?
Well, it's a question on formation, really, right? Isn't it?
So
for me,
basically.
All the best teams, they have a consistent formation that they go for. They might switch up during a game for tactical reasons. But all the best teams, mostly you look at Liverpool, you look at Real Madrid, you look at Man City, Bayern Munich, they all have a consistent formation. I feel like that's what Dean Smith's trying to emulate with his 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Different variations of it.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you switch to a 4-4-2 or a 5-3-2, you lose that consistency and maybe it becomes confusing to the players. Like maybe it's a sign that Smith isn't confident in their ability to play his way, and maybe they'll become a bit disillusioned. They might become a bit less confident in their own ability. So I feel like it's all about consistency. If you play 4-3-3 a lot, you get used to it. The players know their roles, like we've seen the last 5 games.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the reason we're playing with 2 wingers.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you've got 2 attacking fullbacks and 2 wingers, just means more crosses into the box and more players that can cross the ball.
Yeah.
So then your striker and your midfielders that can push into the box.
Yeah, and exactly.
It's more quality for them to feed off.
Yeah, and I mean, with 2 attacking fullbacks, it doesn't necessarily mean they both need to go on at the same time. One can bomb on and one can stay. And like I say,
exactly.
When you're playing 3 in midfield, all it takes is Dougie to drop in. You got 4 at the back anyway. You got a normal back 4.
Exactly. You got Dougie just in front of Mings or Conser or whatever. Got Cash or Target staying back.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. But yeah, so I just want to say thank you for that, Adrian. So yeah, I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, it's a good question, mate.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, so yeah, I agree. So yeah, keep it coming in. Thank you for that. So the next one I'm going to go to is another formation-based question, just because we may as well, seeing as we're sort of on that subject anyway. So he's going to say, he just wants to ask, this is from Joel Seston on Twitter again. So he's just asked, can we pose the question, would Dean be open to changing the formation, or do we think that Dean would be open to changing the formation to incorporate 2 strikers, as a lot of teams are now seeming to revert to it, especially if we secured, say, a striker of Edouard's calibre from Celtic, I presume. I presume he means there. So what do you think about that? Do you think Dean would be open to incorporating 2 strikers if we got Edouard, or do you think he'd like to stay at the same sort of in the same sort of same sort of formation, the 4-2-3-1?
It depends.
I think again,
it depends on how he wants to play.
And I think if we got Edouard, I think Watkins would rival Edouard at the start of the season, and then eventually may even move out wide again, or they could. And if Edouard's not playing well, he could drop him, and it gives us loads of options. I think if we brought Edouard in, I can't see why they wouldn't try it in lesser games, maybe, or even in friendlies, maybe.
Like against Burnley, maybe, or
again. Oh, well, not particularly Burnley. Like, I mean,
well, no disrespect to Burnley, but
no. So I mean, so I was talking mainly sort of like FA Cup games or Carabao Cup games.
Oh yeah, like say
so
if we beat Bristol, we've got say Stoke or Gillingham. It's kind of like experiment in that game.
Yeah, experiment with that game. I mean, even if you put Edouard and Watkins both up front for it, and then you just see how it is. 45 minutes not working, you can pull one of them out wide, or you can make the change then.
Because they can both play out wide.
Yeah, I think you'd be open to it. But again, I think it would marry in. I think football's a lot more fluid than just formations. Especially even when I was growing up. I mean, sort of when I first started playing football, it was very 4-4-2. 4-5-1.
Yeah.
It was no fluidity, but whenever you sort of play now, especially even at youth football now, that it's 4-4-2, and then but if we've not got the ball, then Watkins would drop in behind Edouard, play 4-2, sort of that sort of idea.
4-4-1-1.
Yeah, sort of dropping more as a number 10, and then it would, and then when we've got the ball, he'd press up, so they've got 2 up top. But that's what I think. I can see him being open to it, but again, football's a lot more fluid nowadays, and it wouldn't be a rigid 4-4-2 as you would.
What I have noticed about Smith is the fact that I think he's looking for an interchange in front 3, where it's harder to predict and it's harder to mark the players. Like, look at Brentford last year. We had, like, 1 point Ben Rama was at striker and Watkins was on the wing. And then Watkins was on the striker, or Burma was striker, with Ben Rama and Watkins on the wing. I think that's what Smith wants, and that's what Smith is going to try and emulate this season. And you will see it more this season if we sign the players we're rumored to sign. Yeah,
because I mean, all of them can. Bertrand Traore, we already know that can play up front as well. So I mean, and either wing we know for a winger. Some wingers do prefer to play on the wing, like on certain wings, like Snodgrass did. But we do know that most wingers can play both sides and are fluid, and it's just if they can play up front. And if we do get the people that would sort of rumoured to be getting, that could well be a possibility. So yeah, that's a good call. And I'll just bring Jake in if he wants to say anything on this question before we move on to the next one.
Yeah, it very much links into what I was saying to the previous question. That it's all about consistency. It's about having your formation, sticking to it, the players knowing their roles. So I feel like in Dean Smith's mind, he wants that consistency with a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
That's his way of playing. He doesn't like a 4-4-2. And I feel like the only way we will go to a 4-4-2 isn't from the start. And it's from if we're chasing the game and if it's a Catfield in the 60th minute, in the 70th minute, and he goes both Davis and Watkins like he did in the game against Sheffield United.
Yeah, so I mean, he still did it in the game against Sheffield United, and it seemed to, because again, what you could see then, Davis seemed to be the one that dropped off because then they preferred Watkins on the last man. But yeah, it seemed to be Davis that was dropping off to number 10. I saw whenever they got the ball, especially towards the end when we were sort of trying to defend. So we were sort of fluid in that, but yeah, I agree. I think we don't change what's not broken. We keep it as it is, and we move on from there.
Definitely.
Yeah, but that was a great question again. Another one from Joel Seston.
Well, good question.
Cheers, Joel. Thank you for that. Make sure you get on again for the next one. But yeah, moving on. we have another question. This one again, we're going to leave for Jake to answer, because he's the guru on this and he knows the most about it. So no pressure, Jake. This is from Y15EEN. So I think he must be the Tesla owner's son or something. But yeah, cheers for that, Y15EEN from Twitter. So it's a really good question. So what do you think our FFP strategy is, and how we'll be able to spend like we are doing? Good luck, Jake.
Right. I've read a lot about financial fair play. It's something that quite interests me.
Right.
I feel our strategy is spend. I get my words out. And then maybe relax it a little bit next year.
Yeah.
Basically, what I feel is with FFP, you don't see Premier League clubs fading, do you? I feel like FFP is more the problem for Championship clubs because they don't have the revenue. When you're in the Premier League, you get the TV money, you get the revenue from ticket sales, you get the revenue from shirt sponsors, you get the revenue from sponsorships. You can go on and on. The revenue you get is massive. So for me, when you're in the Premier League, FFP isn't really an issue because you get that much revenue, it offsets it anyway. Also, what I've read is that financial fair play has been relaxed this summer, so you can kind of spend a little more. It's basically, have you ever heard of the term "you spend money to gain money"?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speculate to accumulate.
That? Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, the theory is you spend money, get some quality players in. You finish higher up in the table, you gain more revenue. That's basically the theory in football.
Yeah. And I mean, just to touch on that, I mean, I'm no expert on sort of our FFP strategy, but I think we don't need to worry about the rules because the person who's sort of helping, who's the sort of big boss backstage, pulling all the strings, Christian Perslow. He's the man he was one of the part of the panel that wrote the rules. So he'll know.
Sounds going to know the loopholes.
He knows every in and out and every way around it and every which way to. When we had our wind-up order and everyone was worrying, and he just came out every time, and especially at sort of supporters meetings and things, and he'd just say straight away, look, there's nothing to worry about. I've read the rules, and it proved to be true. So I'm not worried about it, and I don't think we really need to worry about that. I don't think the club would go around gambling our money like that anymore.
Oh no, they wouldn't.
And just
not Randy Lerner.
And just to touch on the FFP, the thing about Premier League football compared to Football League, especially the lower tiers of it, Premier League teams don't rely as heavily on gate receipts and things like that during this COVID-19. No. So we rely on TV revenue and deals and things like that, and sponsorships and stuff. And the thing is that these sponsorship companies probably have been paying more. I'm just taking a wild guess due to the fact that they know full well that football has to be shown because you can't go to the games this year. And they know that they're going to get a lot more airtime. So I can imagine that bumped up the sponsorships as well for Premier League teams. But when you go to League Two and League One teams, they rely on the 2,000 people, 1,000 people who come through the door, pay £10 on the door. That's 10 grand. That probably pays a week. That probably pays a lot of the staff there. And then the food and the drinks and the concourse and then and all that kind of thing, all the season tickets for the lower team. That's what they rely on. And I think because everyone thinks COVID's affected everything, but for the big dogs in football, they might be losing money, but they're always losing money, really. Every football club's almost losing money. It's just about not losing too much money. And I think our owners are businessmen. They know what they're doing, don't they? Let's be honest.
Oh, 100%. And as much as it hurts me to say this, we are going to lose more football clubs than we already have.
Yeah.
So Macclesfield have gone down recently, ain't they? And then you've lost your Berries, and we almost lost Bolton. But it could be losing Wigan.
Yeah. There's clubs everywhere going to pot now, and there's not investors out there willing to buy it because they know for the next 12 months, if they are forced to play league games, they're going to just lose. Not lose isn't the word. They're just going to absolutely drain all their money is just going to go, and they're going to be in debt more and more and more week by week by week, and they're never going to have some sort of comeback money. So it's not a very attractive prospect for any owners, especially abroad ones who have no idea what's going to go on in this country. They probably wouldn't even be able to allowed into this country to even look at their new club at the moment. Again, but that again was a fantastic question from
That was a
Y15
great question.
EEN.
I'll
I've
summarise
learned
it
a bit
with
as
one
well.
sentence.
Yeah.
What the one sentence I use to summarise it
Yeah.
is trust the owners, trust Christian Perslow. So maybe 10 sentences.
Almost one sentence. Well, it depends if you put a comma.
Yeah.
We'll let you off, but yeah, that's a fantastic question. So that's 3 of them. The final one was one we've sort of answered, so I'll go around and we'll just say one each, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's from Aaron Singh. Thank you for getting in touch again, Aaron. So I'd love to hear you discuss, based on yesterday's game, what we think, what all 3 of us think we need to improve on. So for me, I'll just go first, just really quick. So the big thing stands out, I think everyone will probably say this, is the creativity and the penetration when a team just sits in. We struggled with it last year. I mean, we got there in the end, but that would be the big thing we need to improve on. That's the one thing I'd say is to when a team is sat in and they're not bothered about attacking. We need to find a way, even if it's drawing them out a bit. So coming all the way back, playing it along sort of defensively and drawing them out and then going in behind or something like that. I think we need to improve on that. So that would be the big thing that I'd want to improve on. That's just my opinion. So yeah, Jake.
Oh, 100% agree.
Yeah. So what do you think, Ben? Actually, sorry, go on. You can give
No,
yours.
that's fine. I just agree with you. Like, we need more variety of crosses. We need more players that can draw 3 or 4 players onto them to either win a foul or
There's not many like Grealish though.
We need no, there's not. But we need players that are able to draw in the fouls.
Yeah, or do something
so
similar.
It's not heavily reliant on Grealish.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of pressure on him. I think this year, because of the options we've got and the quality we have got now coming through the door, and Wesley coming back, I think he had a hard time. I think he would have got double figures last year if he would have carried on playing.
100% is already on 5.
So yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the description of him was harsh, but I think we do need that player. But I think with the quality we've got now, there won't be as much on Jack to provide that. But yeah, I agree. I do agree. I think there has been, especially last year and the year before, even more so, a lot of weight on his shoulders to deliver the goods.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
Wicked. But yeah, finally, we'll let you sum up then, Jake. So what would you say we need to improve on the most?
2-word answer: squad depth.
Good point. Fantastic point. Yeah, fantastic point. And on that, that's a fantastic point. I think that's the one thing we are lacking. I think I even sent a tweet out about this when we looked at our bench. No real creativity or attacking options on there apart from Davis. Fantastic point. So yeah, I think that just about wraps us all up for the first ever episode. So I think we've just trailed slightly over an hour. But I hope everyone who's listened enjoyed it. I just want to say thank you again to Jake Albury and Ben Smith for joining me.
Davis.
Thank you for joining us, Ben. That's an inside joke
right.
now. Don't worry, you're always going to be Ben Smith to me now from now on, mate. I've already said that you've changed your name. The stupid thing is, on the Zoom call in front of me, it literally says Ben Davis. But we'll take it. But yeah, thank you both for joining. I think that's been a great little discussion about Sheffield. Obviously, the Sheffield game and all the squad. And I think thank you to everyone who sent in their questions. We're going to try and get this on a bit more of a regularity. We've got some big things coming up. We've got an interview with someone we can't announce yet, or they're going to be joining us as a guest. So yeah, we'll as soon as we can, we'll let everyone know. But yeah, thank you for joining us again. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook group, the Villa Vision, and yeah, we'll see you all next time on the Villa Vision podcast. Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers. Cheers.